What's a pirate's favorite letter?
Oh, I know this one. Most people think it's R, but
R,
it's really the C.
Really the C.
All right, crew, welcome back. It's been a long time since we have done a how-to. It seems like it's been months. It might have been months. So I'm excited to do another ride series how-to presented by Fazari. And part of why I'm so excited about this one are these two people here on the side of me. Everybody, I think at this point who watches is familiar with this joker right here, Mason DeCarroll. He has not made an appearance in a how-to. So this will be the first time.
It's true.
Now, I might be a little more excited for this person over here. A lot of you probably recognize Jess Hana or her alter ego, Jess the Maker. She does a lot of really cool content on Instagram. So if you don't know what it is, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. So why is Jess here? Jess is here for multiple reasons. Jess is here because she's a great rider, first and foremost, but she's also here because she's a really cool person. We have done some skills work with her. She's been through clinics, and we have a lot of conversations about coaching and riding. So Jess is a coach. She's coached for a lot of different entities, and my hope is that today she will be able to speak a language that appeals maybe to more people. We're gonna talk about turning. We've done turning videos before multiple times, and I think those turning videos had some good info in them. But my hope is that Jess and Mason can bring another layer of info when it comes to turning. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm ready. I hope they're ready. I don't even have to ask if everybody else is ready. Let's dissect a little bit thought process. Jess, let's start with you.
Sure.
Okay, turning. You've coached turning a lot.
Yes.
You have a lot of different takes on turning. We discussed them a few different ways. What are your thoughts going into this video? What are you looking to accomplish? What do you think might differ from what we have talked about in the past?
I honestly, because turning has so many different ingredients to it, I really feel like kind of going back to the basics and really dialing in some of those key components first before I start to get ahead of myself a little bit. Yeah, why are you laughing?
Because you're like a chef. You're a chef of
Well,
turning.
a chef of turns.
And at the ride series, we joke that it's a tasty turning cake
Oh.
that has multiple layers.
Oh, interesting.
So I like that.
Yeah, I use in coaching the reference of recipes and that know every feature, whether it's a corner, a drop, a jump, everything has its own unique recipe, and so the ingredients might change depending on each thing. So, yeah.
Not a celebrity coach, a celebrity chef.
Yes, chef of sorts.
Okay, let's shift over to young Mason DeCarroll. First time doing a ride series how-to. You've done it many times at the ride series.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking, dude? What do you think about turning? What is it you want to get across when it comes to turning?
Basics, you know?
Basics.
Yeah.
I do know, actually. I know very well.
I know you're hard on guiding with that inside hand and dropping that outside heel.
Okay.
So those are the main two things I want to get across
Okay.
this video.
Enough talking. Let's go
Good.
set up what's going to happen. Okay, we think the lawn equipment has stopped. We hoped. No guarantees. So where are we? Well, of course, we're in the mountain bike capital of the world, Bentonville, Arkansas. We're here at a pretty good spot for this, I think. So if you've been here recently, they're expanding Crystal Bridges, so All American is closed. So you go riding in from Lawrence Plaza, you hit a big trail closed sign, it shoots you left. If you keep going left, you're gonna end up here. So this is a nice, big, sweeping, flowy left-hander. So we're gonna focus on this because it's fairly flat. It's a big, long turn, so you have a lot of time to think about what's happening. And I just think it's a good place. Before we go any further, we need to unearth what are some common issues that you see with turning. Jess, you go first.
I would say not knowing which pedal to drop, and so if not coming in with level pedals, sometimes I'll see that inside foot drop, which then leans the rider's weight to the inside of the corner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tough one. We see it a lot. Mason, What about you? What are you passionate about when it comes to turning mistakes?
Yeah, so for me, it's when I see somebody come in really low on the inside of the corner and then sometimes go over the corner because they entered it way too low.
Okay. Yeah, that's just all about geometry. That's a great one. Okay, that leaves me. There's a few I'm thinking about, and I thought one would just strike me. Okay, I'm gonna go with one. We're gonna do this a little bit more charades fashion.
Okay.
I'm not gonna speak it. I'm gonna act it out. I don't know if you know, but I'm a bit of an actor. Are you ready, Andy? Here it is.
Too
You get
far
it?
back.
Back seat.
Too
The
in the back
hips
seat.
in the back seat. Can't ride your bike from the back seat.
Do you drive your car from the back seat?
You don't. So we're gonna deal with those three, and I know some of you are watching right now going, oh, it's got my number. That's me. Let's deal with this. Let's figure out what are we gonna do. Okay, so let's break it down simply. First things first. What do you say to people when you're coming into a turn? What do you have to do first?
Pick your line. Look where you're going. Your vision.
You gotta look where you're going. Okay, so have your eyes up and look where you're going. This is one of those things that's very straightforward. It's very simple. Look as far ahead as you can. If you can see what's coming, you slow the trail down, and that'll give you a better opportunity to be prepared for the turn. Now, I think that leads right into what you said. Okay, what do you have to do next?
Coming in, got to pick your line, got to know where you got to be, and then set up body position. Got to get ready for the corner. Set up early so that you're prepared rather than coming in and being late.
Just throwing a lot out there. Let's backpedal a bit. So setup means where you're coming into the turn.
Yep.
So if I'm coming into this left-hand turn, where on the trail do I want to be?
You want to be as far outside as possible.
So if I'm coming into a left-hand turn,
Yep,
I
you
want to
wanna
be on the right side of that turn.
Yep.
Can you tell me why?
Geometry. You know, if you come in far inside, it sets you up. Your arc is pointed towards the outside of the berm. If you
Okay.
come in wide, your arc can come down and you can exit down low rather
Okay.
than coming up.
Let's talk about pedal position. We have the way we teach it at the Ride Series, but you and I have been discussing a couple different things.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll get right to it. There's a thought process of level pedals, and there's a thought process of inside pedal up. What have you taught, and what is your rationale behind it?
Okay, so typically, especially with folks who are just getting into mountain biking, I think it's a really good start to make sure that those pedals are level. It could get a little bit confusing when you're turning left or turning right to remember which side to drop. And so when all else fails, if you can get level pedals through that turn, you're golden. However, as you start to advance and you start to play with leaning the bike, dropping that outside foot is going to give you the traction you need to carry through that speed in that corner.
Yeah, that's one of those things where I've had many conversations about this, and some people just standing up on the bike is a challenge. So when you start, we got to try to build confidence any way we can. Now, for the sake of what we're doing, we're gonna assume that people have somewhat of a baseline of skills. And so that means what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about the inside pedal up to try to get a little bit better body position. And from there, that'll help breed a little bit more confidence, okay? The idea here too is we wanna keep it as simple as we can. We got Jess set up on her signal peak, and what we're gonna talk about is pedal position when you come in. So we're gonna pretend she's rolling into the turn, and what you're gonna see is as the bike starts to make that left, go ahead, she's guiding with that inside hand, you see the hips come out and the outside foot drops. So at this point, the focus is weight in this pedal, because now if she pushes down, that's driving traction right there into the tires.
So at the Ride Series, we like to keep it simple. We don't want to influence too many things to think about when you're going through a corner. So two of the things we want to think about here is guiding with that inside hand. If you guide with that inside hand, you're not going to put too much weight on the handlebars and get twitchy. When you get too much weight on the handlebars and get twitchy, it's when you influence weight on that outside hand and you start to push and counter steer with the inside, and then it just gets all wonky. Second thing is that outside foot. You really want to weight in that outside foot so you can drive all your weight through your body into that foot and into those turning knobs. And the more you lean it over, the more weight you can put into the tires, into those sweet turning knobs you got there on those tires.
Sweet knob!
Sweet
Sweet knobs, I don't
turning
know what I was
knobs.
saying.
So now we're basically mid-turn, we'll call it. And I gave some input, Mason gave some input, and now it's obviously Jess's turn to give some input. And I left it open for her, and I was very excited because she said, I know what I want to say. We've done some coaching sessions with Jess, and one of the things we worked on was turning. And when Jess came through a Ride Series clinic, we quickly picked up on a couple of things that we want to tweak. She already turns really, really well. And so it's exciting for us because we were going to drill down way deeper on a couple of things. But what's crazy is this is not a super deep thing. It's a fairly simple thing that's commonly overlooked. What was it?
Yeah, I was performing my corner or my turning in a short window. I was not utilizing the entire turn, and so I started to expand the turn and really hold that position, that turning position with my hip out, my hip out, outside foot dropped, and really being able to carry the speed through more efficiently because I was holding that position
so
longer.
We could say it different ways. Like we could say you were extending, you were exaggerating a little bit more. There's a lot of different ways to accomplish this. Most people, when they come in, the body movements happen very quickly. We're essentially trying to slow the body movements down a little bit.
Yeah.
And hopefully at this point you're thinking, wow, like that seems like a decent amount of work to figure this out. Yeah, it is. Mastering turns is something I don't think anybody in the world has done. And there's a lot. It's pretty simple. You got to get through the turn. You want to use the best geometry you can, but there's a lot to doing that. It was exciting to see you open up and expand because instantly the feedback was big. Like Mason's like, dude, that made a huge difference.
It made a huge difference.
So you come through, you extend, obviously your eyes are going to track out. At this point, what are you thinking? What are some of the things you're thinking about when you're mid-turn exiting the turn?
When I get to the point where I'm mid-turn, I'm looking at my exit. And I think the thing that's beneficial about that is I'm seeing, especially on this turn, it still turns. Like one might think it stops right there at that one rock, but it just continues going. And so I have a choice to make in terms of my line, how long I'll keep expanding.
So much good stuff. I love this. So I think to kind of build on that, you want to extend the turn. So for example, in this instance, what we see a lot of people do is you come through and then you stand the bike up. And then it's like, oh no, wait a minute, I need to keep turning left a little bit. Oh, I need to keep turning left a little bit more to get to the next one. Stay in this left as long as you can before you get into the right. And the beauty of that is your weight stays balanced. As soon as you stand the bike upright and then reset back into the turn, you're moving your weight all over. And remember, you are much heavier than the bike. All right, we're progressing. What do you think now?
I think especially as we start to initiate really good sort of trail scanning, looking where we want to go, a common thing that I've seen in coaching is that's great. People will start to look where they go, but if their body doesn't follow, that could create some problems, right? And so I like to use the terminology of nose nips knees. And so not only is your nose looking where you want to go and at your exit, your nips and your knee, especially that inside knee, is going to point to that exit.
Yeah, trying to get obviously vision. You're going to go where you look. 3 ends. I love that. I'd never heard that. Like I looked at the notes.
I might have made that up.
It's okay because I think it makes sense.
We all have nips.
We should. We should. And as you know, you can milk anything with nipples. Right? Didn't Gaylord Fokker say that?
Yeah.
At this point, you start thinking about, okay, what can I now use to refine the turn and make the turn a little bit better? We want basics, vision, see where you're going, relax, stay nice and tall, don't let the hips creep back, guide with the inside hand, try to let the hips come out so you're balanced over the bike. But once those things get comfortable, then you start to stack on where are you looking, really think about where the eyes are going, and then let the body follow. Yeah, we talk about hips too, like you can start angling the hips a little bit. There's a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
And my concern sometimes is people get caught up in all of those things. They're coming into a turn, they're not looking ahead, they're not setting up well, they're in the back seat, but I'll tell you what, man, they're looking, eyes, nips, everything's going. What I would tell those people is that's great, but you need to get the things that come before that done before you start to think about those things. So I think it comes back to keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it and try to figure out what works best for you. This is a very individualistic thing. And what's crazy is I always did really well turning, not even worrying about what my body was doing. I got with the inside hand, I weighed on the outside foot, it was great. We went and rode the bike park tour on the La Salles. I was going way faster than I was comfortable with, so I had to start thinking about what are my hips doing. Once I started thinking about what my hips were doing, things got better. You know, Shakira, smart woman. Okay, time to wrap it up. And what's funny is, as it usually happens, we're sitting here waiting to shoot the shot. That almost sounded like something else. Anyways, we're sitting here ready to shoot this, and we watch some people come through and we realize, man, there's a couple of other things. Like, we saw some of the things we talked about, but there's other things we could talk about. Look, here's what it comes down to. We could keep making turning videos over and over and over again, and we will do that, and we'll keep trying to break them down as simple as possible. Here's what it comes back to. You need some time, you need some experience, and you need to try to find it in an environment that doesn't scare you. Like, we just watched somebody come through, that person was super scared. They were riding with somebody who was a little bit better. Put yourself in a position where you're not scared. If you're scared, you cannot learn. It's science. Put yourself in a position, maybe it's in a grass field, use some cones, try to figure out ways to get a little bit more comfortable with what has to happen. Once you do that, find places on the trail that you can get more comfortable. There's no shortage of videos out there. You don't have to listen to what we say. You don't have to take what we say as gospel. My advice is try it. Try some different things, like, you know, pedal position. People sometimes want to fight back on that. Guiding with the inside hand, people want to fight back on. Try it, see what works. I don't expect you to do exactly what I do. I don't think you should do exactly what Jess does. I don't think, you certainly shouldn't do exactly what
No,
Mason
definitely
does.
not Mason.
Because we saw it doesn't work so well. Figure out what works best for you, I think. I mean, what's your take on turning in general?
Yeah, there are so many nuances to turning and so many layers. And so really breaking it down, keeping it simple, like Rich said, start somewhere where you're not gonna be super intimidated and get those reps in.
Yeah, and we're gonna do another one. We're gonna do another video where we go deeper into the nuance of a lot of this. Mason, what are your final thoughts?
Yeah, time under task. Get out there and ride your bike. So get out there and do it. You may not do it perfect the first time, but just get out there, ride, work on one thing at a time, and it'll get better.
Did he really just say time under task, Andy?
Is that your
He
phrase?
was rolling.
Oh no, it's not my phrase necessarily. I use it a decent amount.
that's
Andy
hilarious.
knows it because it's commonly used in weightlifting circles.
Yeah.
But this guy
Yeah.
knocked it out of the park in his
Knocked it.
first how-to.
Look at that.
All right, look, if you want to come out, you want to do some coaching, shoot a message to info@therideseriesmtb.com. Check out the schedule of clinics at therideseriesmtb.com. Follow along behind the scenes at the Rich Drew, at Mason DeCarroll, at Pedal Andy Pedal, at Jess the Maker. If you have questions, drop them down below. More importantly, if you want to see her and maybe him in more videos, let us know. All right, from the mountain bike capital of the world, how do we end it?
Wait, what?
How do we
Oh,
end
what's our
videos?
sign off? I know this.
What's up, Rick?
What's happening? Hey, do you know how we end our videos?
Shit. You call them something.
It's usually like peace out dumpers. Or
Dope
something like
dumpers. Peace out dumpers. How
Thank
did I
you.
forget
Our
that?
guest star
that. Peace
didn't.
out or see you later dumpers.
See you later. Peace out.
Peace
See you
out.
later, dumpers. It doesn't
Dumpers.
matter. Our guest star couldn't remember. So,
I was like,
thank you, Tyler.
I thought we were dead.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tyler.
And when you come here, you need to rent a bike. Encore Bike
Woo!
Rentals has Fazzaris that you can rent. Okay, now ready? We're gonna pretend nothing of that happened.
Okay.
And action. Okay, that's it. Let's end the video. Jess, you get the honors.
Peace out, dumpers.
Put her own spin on it. I like it.